set my soul on fire. Thinking back before I left, the passions I desire. Can you help me anymore?
Oh boy, I always hate turning that song off, Jorma. I really do.
Yeah.
The tea is hot. The tea is hot.
It is.
Jorma, welcome,
Jack.
welcome back. Hey.
Ja.
I've been called
You're
worse.
not Jack.
It's okay, I've been called worse.
You're not Ja. You might be Ja, but you are
no,
John.
Ja, no, Ja,
I
no.
gotcha.
Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back. This is number...
Don't tell me. 7.
You're on it, buddy. Sharp today. I can't wait to hear the answers to these
boy.
questions. Well, Jorma, we had such a good time. Podcast number 6. Thank you to the fans and our friends out there who sent in some very learned questions. Very, very
Erudite.
erudite. And as you may know, we weren't able to make it through the whole show because we had so many great questions come in. So we're going to tackle some of these ones we didn't get to the first time around, Jorma, and continue on with this. This is a great format.
It is.
And thanks again. And thanks to our great team that brings these podcasts, and our producer, Vanessa, and our great executive director of all the podcast photography and filming, Andy Walla. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, Jorma, we're back at it. This is a very interesting question. When I see some of these questions, I'm waiting for the answer myself, okay?
I'm waiting for the question.
Has there ever been a time before a concert you felt your voice was dying, you had laryngitis issues or anything like that? And in such a case, what do you do?
The simple answer is yes. And I remember it happened, I guess towards the end of last year. I don't know if it was laryngitis, but I had some kind of a throat problem. Hey, here's the deal. The show must go on.
That's the truth. That is the truth.
And I just had to pull back on the voice, almost talking, almost narrating the songs. I do remember that I think I forget whether it was a comment or something, somebody complained about my, Jorma sounded like he was just like phoning it in, or, hey, what can I tell you, my brother?
Jorma never phones it in. That's what I would tell him.
The show must go on.
The show must go on. And
Gotta cut the gig.
Yep. Jorma, I'm thinking here, but I seem to remember it might have been the Turning Point or something years ago with Barry, that you had a night where your voice, and you did most everything instrumental.
Actually, I do remember. I remember that tour.
What was that story?
I actually had, whatever it was I had, I completely lost my voice. I couldn't even really talk. And the good news was, because since I was playing with Barry, who can actually take like adult solos and stuff, we basically played an instrumental night. We did it for a couple nights. I remember that.
Yeah, I bet that was so cool.
You know, yeah, I mean, it was inspiring in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, I would have preferred to be able to sing, but you know, you got to dance with the one that brung you, right?
You know, Jorma, having known you for so long, I know you're one of those kind of guys. When you said that the show must go on, you always come through, man. And if you make a promise to someone that you're going to be there or do this or that, now looking back, that's just the part of who you are, the fundamentals and stuff.
I do the best I can with what I got.
But and the show must go on. But were there ever any times, like say in Jefferson Airplane days, or anything that you or anybody you can remember in the band being so sick that you couldn't perform?
I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I don't remember it.
Okay.
Now, there might have, the simple answer is I don't remember. Once, I know somebody out there remember. Maybe when, I think Hot Tuna picked up a show because Grace was sick or having a baby. Or I really don't remember. For some reason, I think that we got to do a show, but basically speaking, I know one of our learned friends out there is going to come through for us on this one.
We hear how we do. Okay. Second part of this question
is,
in a pinch, could Jack sing? And then they also added here, has Jack ever recorded lead or backing vocals?
So the simple answer is, I personally believe that Jack can sing because I've heard him just fooling around. I don't think that. I remember back in the '70s when Bob Roberts was playing sax with us and Nick Buck was playing keys. We did this song called the Party Song where Jack was, "We got the party going on. We got the party going on." A lot of great lyrics. We got the women going on. We got the boo. It's one of those songs. And I remember that Jack jumped in on that, but I don't think he's ever recorded. And that may be the only time.
Really?
Again, I mean, it's been a while, but I've heard Jack just fooling around singing, and he could do it, but we need to ask him.
Yes, and I think we'll have a chance
I
at
think
some
we
point
will.
here, future podcast. The asker of this question,
The asker.
he says, bless his point little head in his mind, and mine too, one of the finest live records ever made.
I have to agree with you there.
And the time period for the band and everything else. And his question is there any other Jefferson Airplane material of high quality, as in bless his pointed little head, being released at any point?
Somebody hear a mouse cough?
I thought I heard something. And then, so that being part A of the question about the quality of their old Jefferson Airplane live recordings around of that quality, and also, what is your position? Do you have control over what would get released from the Jefferson Airplane catalog?
Sure, of course we do. The second part of the question, of course we do. In a perfect world, at this point in our life, because of the way our managed company works, I don't think anything would be released that wasn't vetted by us. Now, in the past, they've been bootlegs, like the Far East bootleg, all kinds of stuff. I know record collectors like you love those weird Jefferson Airplane compilations from China where they spell the names wrong and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And there's some stuff you just can't control, but yeah. What was the first part of that question?
Was there other live material you would figure would be available from that era?
So, the simple of quality. That's the key word.
High
there.
quality of the audio.
And the answer is no, because the live recordings we have here, these are remote trucks. People. Again, this is arguable. My friends that like the tape. Well, I got a board recording. I hate board recordings.
What do you hate about them?
Well, because they're dry.
That's true.
That
is true.
So if you're going to do a recording and you can record off the board and you have some ambient mics in the room, that would make it, because they're just dry and cold and who cares?
Right.
I know many of my friends that are tapers will go, "You're absolutely wrong," and that's
Right.
okay.
And
I personally, if I was going to call some sort of a recording thing, I would probably never use a board recording unless we could do something with it, because it just sounds terrible, in my opinion. But so the live recordings, like Bless His Pointed Little Head, these are full remote trucks with full 24 tracks or whatever the state of the art was at that time. These are not,
Did
these
you
are
use
not.
the Rolling Stones truck on that recording?
We might have.
Yeah, because I know they had a real high-end one.
Yeah, we might have. I don't remember, but anyway, things are different now. But even so, I mean, to do a real recording is not just like plugging a bunch of microphones to the board. I mean, if you just want to archive something, yeah, that's all well and good. But a real recording, in my opinion, requires mic placements, all kinds of stuff like that. Al Schmidt, that worked with us for so many of our live recordings, may he rest in peace, was an absolute genius at mic placement.
Yeah, was he engineer type thing?
Yeah, and a producer,
yeah. You ever like the Grateful Dead contemporaries of yours from the 60s West Coast music scene? So much Dead live stuff comes out, and not only in audio but in video, that sometimes it's like, where did this stuff come from? That they either must have had a team that decided they were going to record every show that they ever did type thing. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but maybe, but a lot of recordings. So
they were ahead of the curve on that stuff, that's for sure.
They were ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah.
So with the Jefferson Airplane, was there anything like that where someone wanted to record every show?
So we did have this guy, and again, don't forget this question, because when we get Jack later on this summer, hopefully, we're going to ask him, because he remembers stuff like this. Marty did hire a guy with a video camera that followed us around and went to Europe and did a bunch of stuff like that. I have no idea where those tapes are. But, like for example, there was that MGM plus 2 episodes series called San Francisco Sound, A Place and Time. Great documentary series. And I remember they also did the Laurel Canyon, A Place and Time too.
Okay.
And like the Laurel Canyon guys, you know, being LA professionals, there was a lot of video shooting movies because that's LA. I remember when they talked about doing it in San Francisco, I'm going, where are you going to find footage? And the answer is, who knows where they found this footage, but they have great footage. That's a great documentary series.
You've talked about
well
that.
worth seeing.
Yeah. What is it called again?
It's called San Francisco Sound, A Place and Time, I think it's called. It's on MGM Plus.
Okay.
But anyhow, yeah, to just wrap up, I think where we're going with this. So, you know, where's my iPhone? It's over there. It's silenced, right? So, you know, everybody documents everything these days. And I remember people were talking about, well, didn't you guys like ever take videos? First of all, videos didn't exist in an affordable format when we were kids back then. And yeah, I mean, this thing here has more trick computing power than the first moonshot, for real, you know?
Right.
And the quality of the stuff, 4K Ultra, what's not to like?
Yeah, you
kind of like what Andy's got going on here.
You can do a lot of things with those, and it's
unbelievable.
It's
So lots of stuff gets documented, but anyhow, so to find footage, especially in, like in an area like San Francisco, it's not like an industry town. I was like, wow.
Yeah. So Blessed's pointing a little head.
Yeah.
You bring in the outdoor equipment to tape. How was it determined that it was it multiple shows they recorded and one was picked out?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is I don't know if it's all from the same night, and I can't remember how many nights. We definitely recorded 2 nights, maybe 3. I really don't remember. Maybe one of our friends out there remembers.
So this is something you contract, that recording vehicle.
Oh, absolutely. No, we set out to do a live recording. RCA paid for the truck, paid for the engineers, paid for all the union guys, all that stuff.
What kind of control did you have on that as far
Well,
as?
just like recording in the studio, the same control we have with anything.
So listening to everything, approving of the
Of course,
tracks
yeah,
and all that
of
kind
course.
of stuff.
Yeah, now that wasn't it back in the day, and it may be true today. I don't know because I'm not in the major recording business anymore. But the Jefferson Airplane had artistic control of all our stuff, and so did Hot Tuna.
And that's a good thing to keep control of.
If possible, not always possible in this line of work.
No,
What do
it
you got
isn't.
there?
Okay, this comes from a lady named Moshe. I like the name. And her question is, listening to the beautiful In Time off Crown of Creation with beautiful intricacies of Jorma's lead and Jack's bass and the transcendent vocals of Marty, Grace, and Paul. She is curious as how that was recorded, and was the acoustic guitar put in later, afterthought?
Absolutely. I would have to say, again, we're testing the boundaries of my memory here. I'm guessing
You're doing real good so
I'm
far,
doing the
buddy.
best I can. Thanks, John. I'm guessing that the acoustic guitar is probably part of the basic track, and if we had Grace here, we could ask her. Most of the time, you know, producers love you to overdub the vocals because it gives a lot of control over stuff. I'm guessing that the way we used to do stuff back then is that we would have had the singers, so would have had the singers singing the track with us while we played it in a whisper room or something like that, so it didn't bleed into the microphones, and then overdubbed.
Just bringing in the vocals.
Just then redo the vocals.
Okay. Jorma, how many tracks is Crown of Creation recorded on? That's still in the early days. Is that like a 4-track?
No.
8?
That's probably 16 tracks.
16?
Yeah.
Okay. So it would have been very possible that you could have done the electric and then come and do it.
Oh, there's all kinds of overdubbing.
Oh,
No, that was absolutely, yeah.
That record in particular. And that is a fantastic song.
But the basics, I strongly suspect, were done with the acoustic instruments. Maybe Jack played, I really don't know, but definitely acoustic. And gosh, if Paul was singing on it, they wouldn't be playing and singing at the same time. So, yeah.
You'd probably lay down all the instrumental parts.
Yeah, but we might have had singers singing along with it in order to get a cohesive feeling for the song.
Well, her descriptions of transcendent and beautiful are certainly appropriate for that song.
Hang on just a sec.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hearing aid, folks. There we go. Whoa, John, I can hear what you're thinking. Oh, don't think that.
No. You can hear what I'm thinking. You let me know. No, I'm just saying that's a good song to talk about because it is such a great song.
Totally, I totally agree. Yeah.
And you know how we did our record with Surrealistic Pillow and Bark. I think as we get going later in the summer, we're recording another episode. We'll touch on Crown of Creation, Bathing at Baxter's, because a lot of people talk about those records as well.
Yeah, great records, and I would really, if the time works out, it'd be great to cut Jack in on some of these.
Yes, maybe when Jack's here, we could talk about that. That'd be a great thing. Okay. On to the next question here, Jorma.
What do you got there, big guy?
Okay. This was such a good question, and I didn't want to copy it and miss out on anything, so I actually printed it so I could read you some of the parts of it as well.
You could read that small print?
Yes, it's going to be a little tricky, but I could, yes. But anyhow, Jorma, this comes from our friend Chris Babby, who's a Fur Peas Ranch alumni.
Up in Canada.
Yeah, and a super sharp guy, too.
Yes, he is.
So I knew it'd be a really great question. Yeah. He's talking about killing time in the Crystal City.
Yes.
I'll read more into the letter as I get going, but he's asking, what do you remember about writing it? He mentions that it's not mentioned in your book. However, in an old interview, you were quoted saying you were messing around with random images in putting that song together.
Right.
Now, so here we go. Crystal as in crystal or crystal meth. Sometimes it seems like the whole song could be narrated by the protagonist in A Man for All Seasons. Other times the whole scenarios, flashing lights, barren hills, seems like a post-apocalyptic world. However, you slice it, and that's the thing about a good set of symbols. They can oscillate in meaning along pretty unified and presents a pretty tangible world.
This is our buddy Chris?
Yes. Deep question.
It is deep question.
So what he is wondering is, what was going through Jorma's head when he was writing it, and what does the song mean to you?
Okay, so listen, I think it's really cool that a piece of work, in this case, Killing Time in the Crystal City, evoked that much of thought on the part of another human being. That song, first of all, the simple thing about this, that song came to me in a dream, almost in its entirety. Wow. And that came to me while I was in Insel, probably one of those skating holidays that we like to do. And in Arlington, Virginia, near where my son lives, is an area of real estate called Crystal City.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with that or with crystal meth or any of that stuff. It was just an image that popped up in a dream. When I remember I woke up, and that song's in an E tuning also, and it just came to me, and I wrote the song. The lyrics pretty much came in their entirety in a dream, and wisely, as soon as I woke up, before they dissipated it over the morning coffee, sat down and finished the song.
Yes, because you've had some other songs come up in dreams.
A couple times, yeah. Again, it's not a predictable way to be a songwriter, but you got to take advantage of it when it happens.
Yep.
Good one, Chris. And also, Chris is the only living person on the planet that I know that actually can play that song, myself included.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yes. Well, he mentions also here, I condensed that down, but mentioning about the DC thing, he says, sometimes I wonder if there's an autobiographical element of Crystal City equals DC. And he puts in that places of lies, my old friends wait to die.
What a cheerful fellow.
And so anyhow, yeah. So that he touches on the D.C. thing. So
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Well, it's not my neighborhood because I'm from Chevy Chase. I'm up by the Maryland state line. This is in Virginia. I mean, I don't know. You know, it's again, the killing time in the Crystal City. Oh, actually,
Yes,
this
you
is
are.
just jogging some memories thing here.
Oh, I love that.
Right around the same time, a dream came up, and it was something about. It was like a murder ballad, murder at the something something hotel. I forget, but that never went anywhere. But this did.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that when I play this song, I'm not a slide player, but I played a little bit of dobro when I was a kid, and this song is played in an E tuning, like I said, and I'm playing a Stephen Steele bar over the top, not like Derek would do,
Right.
and that's all done. It's not fretted. It's all done with the steel.
Is that one of the reasons you don't play that song anymore?
You know something, actually, the reason first of all, I let it go. I'd have to call Chris to teach me how to do it again. But the other thing is that to put a guitar into an E tuning, that means I have to tune the fifth string, the fourth string, and the third string up considerably, and then to get it back out again, it's just.
Sounds like a case to have multiple guitars on stage.
That's
for that one song.
Yeah,
you
that's a
pull
real
that-
justification for the excess of multiple
You
guitars.
pull that one guitar out just for that one song.
I let it go.
Well, you have so many great songs, Jorma. Maybe someday you'll bring it back.
Yeah, you never know. Again, I know somebody knows how to play it. So, hello, Chris. It's Jorma. What are you doing? Got a guitar handy? Listen, there's a couple questions. Yeah, I can see it happening.
We have to bring him back down here.
Might have to.
Here's a great question, Jorma. This is from Daniel in Claysville, New York. See, we're reaching way out there. Claysville.
I wonder what Claysville is near.
I wonder what Claysville is.
I don't know. You didn't get a zip code for that, did
No
you?
zip code, just
Okay.
Daniel, Claysville, New York.
Okay.
I see some of our production staff is working on that to locate exactly where Claysville is. And
Wait.
we'll come back to that.
Fact checkers.
We check as we talk. Okay, his question here, very good question, I must say. When Jefferson Airplane was on the bill with blues musicians like James Cotton, Muddy Waters, Lightnin Hopkins, and others in the 1960s, did you hang with them and exchange songs, knowledge, insights to historical blues, roots, etc.?
So the simple answer to this is not really. Occasionally, if you got to know one of these guys, you know, you might cross-pollinate, as we say. But basically, everybody was pretty much there to do their show. Like, for example, I remember at Tanglewood, New Jersey, there's a famous Jefferson Airplane show. Opening act, B.B. King. Second act, The Who. Headlining act, Jefferson Airplane. And I remember thinking at the time that I found it was almost incomprehensible to me that B.B. King would be opening the show, because to me he was like...
Even at that time, you just felt that way.
Oh, absolutely, you know. But what a great show. But anyway, yeah, so I guess I'm just trying to think about my own personal experience. I mean, obviously, with a guy like Bloomfield and those guys coming out of Chicago, they were part of that world. We were not part of that world. So if by cross-pollinating, did you mean did we get together and jam a bunch? The answer is not really.
Yeah. Would there be anything, Jorma, like you're walking into Muddy's dressing room and saying, Mr. Waters, I just love how you got your mojo
Well,
working."
actually, when we worked the first airplane tour outside of San Francisco, when we went to Vancouver, Signey was still in the band, and we did some shows with Muddy Waters, and I did get a chance to say that to him.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Do you remember who Muddy had as guitar players at that
I
point?
really don't.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I'm thinking early 60s there.
Yeah, that would have been late 65.
Well, as I know things have changed so much, Jorma, because being out on the road with you and seeing things over the last couple decades, for instance, that when you go backstage, like there's more like sometimes the camaraderie with the musicians and stuff. Was it more like you'd be in this dressing room, they'd be in this dressing room, and it was,
I mean, I think well, we're older now too, and but I personally would be so reluctant to go to bother somebody else in their dressing room. Mm-hmm. I just would have thought it would be out of line.
Yeah.
But in the early days, a lot of times we didn't have individual dressing rooms. So when people are just hanging around, people are just shooting the shit, and if you happen to have a guitar in your hand, you might thwack away on it a little bit. I mean, if it was an electric show, you probably wouldn't have an amp backstage, and there's nothing, as you know, because you play electric guitar also, there's nothing more irritating than the thwacking sound of an unplugged electric guitar.
Sticking with the blues guys here, Jorma, any reflection on being in the presence of these blues musicians as a young man getting started in the rock and roll business at that time?
Well, I mean, obviously, because so many of these people were like heroes of mine that I'd only heard on records and stuff like that. It was beyond a thrill, to be able to see these artists ply their trade in person. Catch that alliteration, ply their trade in person.
I like it. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. I already forgot it. What did I say?
Ply that trade.
Oh, yes, got it. I mean, it was just, first of all, again, being young, getting a chance to meet people that you'd only heard on records, late at night in college dorms and stuff like that. It was like, wow, how cool is this?
Well, we talked in one of our last shows when I think we were talking about Reno Road, and you were saying how Jack's brother, Chick Casady, had done a lot to turn you guys onto the Chicago blues.
Yeah, sure, all the chess collection, all that stuff.
Then you have these people opening on the same bill with
it was like, wow. Yeah. It's almost like how that happened in this lifetime.
Right. I know you're a big fan of Lightnin Hopkins as well.
Sure.
And how about in a case like that? Is this something where you would be coming out of that dressing room, staying on the side of the stage, watching everything they're doing?
So the only time, Lightning was an interesting artist. And again, I know some people that are like Lightning specialists, if you know what I mean, and I'm not that guy. Lightning, what a solid and deep blues man he was. But his blues were very eccentric. I mean, he didn't follow the normal bars that blues tend to follow. And Lightning's famous quote was, "Lightnin' change when Lightnin' want to change."
And I heard you better stay with him.
And Jack backed Lightnin' at the Matrix for 2 weeks. Wow. And Jack, being as sharp as he is, was Jack changed when Lightnin' want to change.
Oh yeah,
and
I bet you do. I bet you do.
And I remember Light told Jack at the end of this thing, "You ought to come on the road with me. This rock and roll business isn't going anywhere." But the song that I do, "Come Back Baby," that's a Jorma version of a Lightnin Hopkins song that actually does have changes. Mm-hmm. And I got that off of some ancient Lightnin record. Anybody that loves blues, looking into Lightning's history and his recording history in particular is incredibly interesting, because Lightnin recorded anytime he got a chance to, regardless of who he might have had a contract with, or et cetera.
So many different labels.
So there's so many different labels. There's a lot of really good stuff out there. My personal favorite when I was a kid growing up was, it said, Lightnin Hopkins, King of the Delta Blues Singers. And it was some no-name brand. I don't even remember what it was. And on the front it had a picture of a rowboat half sunk in muddy water, something like that. I mean, Lightnin was not a Delta blues player. He's a Texas player. Right. But the songs are all great. I mean, it's like whoever made the record didn't even really know who he was, but they made a Lightnin record and they put it out.
Right. And of course, when he went to Arhoolie, those were some great records that he did.
Yeah. Well, Arhoolie knew who he was.
They knew what to do with it.
That's exactly.
They knew what to do with it. Now, Jorma, when you had these groups open for you, like say when we're talking about these old blues groups,
right?
I see a lot of it like at the Fillmore with Bill Graham's direction.
Sure.
Because he would do different things like that. When you went out and toured across the mainland, Did Jefferson Airplane have opening acts? Did other blues acts open for you in other places? How much discretion did you guys have on all that stuff?
I think that the blues acts opening for the rock acts in that era was largely a function of the emotional, spiritual zeitgeist at the time. How'd you like that?
I like it.
That's pretty good.
I like it.
I mean, it was just such an eclectic time. I don't think that any promoter, I mean, keep in mind that one of the first times the Airplane went on the road, we were on like a Battle of the Bands tour where we'd be like one of like 5 acts. Everybody got to play like 20 minutes in a high school gym. Wow. You know, I mean, there was no respect to the music yet. You know, and so for a band, even you know, the Jefferson Airplane was sort of like a nascently evolving popular band at the time, but didn't have any clout. We wouldn't be able to say who would you want to have at the bill. You know, just got your gig, play the gig, drive on to the next one. So to have an eclectic bill like with you know, with like Buddy Guy's band or something like that, that probably wouldn't have happened on the road back then. But San Francisco was different.
Sure.
And thanks to Bill Graham and Chet Helms at the Avalon Ballroom, there were lots of these extremely eclectic gigs that we don't really see happening today.
No, I remember when you talk about having the sax player that we like, that opened for you,
Charles Lloyd.
Charles Lloyd.
Yeah.
What a combination something like that would be.
Yeah,
now,
I mean,
that Bill Graham that had that kind of thinking for all those.
Yeah,
guys?
he just really booked great shows. Like we had this one thing where Yevtushenko, the Russian poet, read, and the bookstore in San Francisco,
City Lights,
and the guy
Lawrence Fernan-Getty.
Yes, would read the English translations,
Wow.
and then the Airplane played. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah, that's culture.
Now, think about the average. I don't know. I'm not tuned into what the average is, so I don't even know why I use that word. But I would imagine that somebody's going to see Taylor Swift, for example, would probably not want to sit through a couple poems by Yevtushenko before Taylor took the stage.
Probably not. Well, I think it was awfully cool what he did, and
it was extremely cool.
In some ways, it exposes people to all this
Absolutely.
stuff. Because isn't that even true with Ravi Shankar and stuff? I think it was Bill that really helped to.
Yeah.
Then people all of a sudden, everybody loved that Indian.
Of course,
music.
Ravi was at Monterey too.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Different time.
Okay, as they say, you're very interesting. Okay, this is we've got some good questions from the Roses from Pennsylvania. What is the coolest venue you ever played in? And I want to add to this question because I was recently listening on my Sirius radio and I had the Dead radio on, and I just caught a snippet. But the man that was doing the program that day said that the Grateful Dead, their 3 favorite venues were the Harvard Civic Center, the Fillmore East, and the Carousel Ballroom, which became the Fillmore West.
Right.
And were there places like that that were for you? So let's start at the beginning and say with Jefferson Airplane that.
Well, I'd have to go with the Fillmore East. That was a magical place. And I'd have to go with the Fillmore West also. But along the way, there's other things have come and gone. Cowtown Ballroom, Kansas City, long gone.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of iconic things that just kind of stick in your mind, the Fillmore East,
Those are
Fillmore
the big
West.
ones.
Yeah, the big ones. For me, the big ones, yeah.
Those really are the big ones. Added to the question, is there any place you never got to play that you thought was a cool venue and you would have liked to play?
Royal Albert Hall.
That's a good choice. I remember when you got to play Red Rocks a few years ago. That was a big deal for you.
It was, and I'm sure I've told you this story. I remember, I don't know, it was sort of a dysfunctional part of my life. And I got an offer to open a show for the Dead at Red Rocks. For some reason, I just didn't feel like opening the show. I'd open a show at Red Rocks for Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, attitudes change over
They
time.
do.
They do
They
change
do.
over time. It's so funny you should mention that because my friend Cindy told me that down at the Cincinnati Museum right now they have Pee Wee Herman's bike. And she brought her kids who are grown up now to see it because it was such a big part of their life. And see, that escaped me. I never even saw the movie.
What? You never seen Pee Wee's Great Adventure?
And The Big Lebowski.
What?
Is that our double movie night that we were talking about?
Oh, now
maybe?
you're talking. Yeah, Pee
Maybe
Wee's
that
Big
would
Adventure.
be the one.
Yeah.
But anyhow, well, maybe you'll get a chance to open. No, you won't get a chance to open for him. Okay, Jorma. So that Royal Albert Hall, that would be pretty cool.
Would.
Okay.
I'm not holding my breath, but you never know.
I'll put the word in for
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
Yeah. Now, this question here. This was a really interesting question.
Uh-oh.
And it comes from another one of our learned friends, Greg Maravolo, up in
Greg,
Chicago
okay.
area. But
Yeah.
now Vanessa will know maybe about this because she's a big fan of one of these groups. He points out a similarity between the Jefferson Airplane's Plastic Fantastic Lover and Aerosmith's Walk This Way.
Walk this way. Walk this way.
Starting with how the song starts. One with funky guitar, one with funky drums, and he says that Plastic Fantastic Lover has to be one of the earliest rap songs, which is interesting.
Ooh, that's an interesting take.
Marty's thing, and both songs use the title for the refrain in each of those.
That's a good point.
Now, I never really thought about that, but that Plastic Fantastic Lover is a pretty cool song.
Yeah, I mean, so in other words, what he's saying is Aerosmith plagiarized that song because that's many years later.
That's many years later. Yeah.
Oh, no, I mean, all kidding aside,
You see a
I kind
similarity?
of guess what he's saying. Marty just, wow.
Would he go off in different tangents each night, type thing?
No, I
Or it'd be
mean,
about the
I remember
same?
when we were putting that song together, because I've got boom, boom. I remember when he was singing the song, and I think we might have worked that out in his apartment. And, just trying to, I mean, again, this is very early in my career as an electric guitar band player. I mean, just trying to find something that would work, and that's just what I stumbled on, came up with. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of magic came with a lot
Well,
of this stuff.
I believe that there's a lot of ways to skin this cat, but it doesn't hurt to have magic.
No.
Nice one, Greg.
On some of your solo LPs, you have revisited older Jorma Jefferson Airplane
Yes.
material. Why and what influences your choice? And
What songs?
Say like Trial by Fire.
Well, that's a good question.
And say like Been So Long.
Well, that's not an Airplane song. That was
No,
never-
but you revisit later.
I did once. I did
Yeah.
revisit it once. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Trial by Fire, that's a Drop D song. It's one of the earlier ones in my Drop D collection. Sea Child, Sleep Song. So they're sort of in the family. I remember at the album that's on. Which album was that on?
The Trial by Fire.
Yeah.
That was on Long John Silver.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. And then on Winterland also.
Yeah, but that's a live album.
30 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I think we're just running out of songs. Didn't have enough songs. Needed songs. I went, hey, I got a song. And
I think it's kind of cool when you do revisit things, and like
Well,
the Been So Long in particular,
yeah, well, Been So Long.
because it took on a different thing.
So I had just, that's on a live album also. It's on, Been So Long is on Pull Up, Pull Down.
Yeah.
That's where that.
And then is it on Land of Heroes that you redid it?
No, it's on,
Stars.
no, keep going. It's on one I did with
River.
Larry.
River. Not the River Time.
I can see it's.
Ain't in no hurry.
No, it's the red face on the cover. Come on, Vanessa.
That would be the River.
Yeah, it is River of Time.
Yeah,
Yes, you're right, River of Time. Anyhow, so that was it was a live recording on Pull Up, Pull Down, and I remember there's an ending overdub. I just wasn't satisfied with it, and I really liked the song.
It's a great song.
Yeah, and I just wanted to redo it. And I remember that's one of the rare songs where, because Larry Campbell produced that album, and Larry, of course, love you, Larry, wanted me to overdub the vocal like all producers do, but that's cut live. Played it outside.
Okay, all right. Okay. One of our
Boy, that was exhausting.
One of our people, Scott, said he would love to hear you talk about Blue Ron. Blue Ron, of course, being Ron McKernan.
Ron McKernan, Pigpen.
Pigpen. And you could combine these into them, Jorma. Love to hear you talk about Blue Ron and any cool things you guys used to do together.
So, we've already covered this, I think, in one of our...
We might have talked about,
but
maybe it might have been during the live concert, actually. Yeah.
Could have been. Anyway, so when I got a chance to hear Pig the first time, he was playing solo. I mean, there's not as much interaction as people would like there to be. Were you hanging out all the time? Were you doing this? And the answer is no. First of all, Ron didn't live in San Jose. I lived in San Jose. Everybody's doing their own thing. This would have been at 63, 64.
And where's Pigpen living? San Francisco?
No, this is way before San Francisco.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know where he lived. He probably lived in Palo Alto because that's where Jerry and the guys are from.
Okay.
I was living in San Jose. But
what's the distance between there? I'm trying to think about it, driving in those days.
Well, if you didn't have a car like I didn't have a car, it's probably an hour and a half on the bus. It's probably like 15 miles, but the bus stopped every 3 blocks.
Sure.
So we just weren't hanging out all the time. So to get a chance to hear an artist like Ron, back in the days when he was like playing guitar and harmonica, was like, I mean, he was the real, gosh darn deal. There's no two ways about it, and yeah.
He had that rough element that kind of went with the blues he was playing. Like it wasn't like seeing someone like I don't want to say like someone else like it looks like a college kid doing the blues.
No,
he looked like the blues guy. He was the blues guy.
Like they say in the gospel songs, he lived the life he sung about in his songs. Yeah. And and in that era, there's funny things that happen over time too. You can hear a guy like John Hammond or an artist like Pigpen or other people that I don't know that happened to be white, and I guarantee at that time there was some critic was going to say, man, he sounded like he was black. Here's the good news: we don't hear that shit anymore.
Right.
Now you sound good or you sound bad.
Right. So, did you get to see some Blue Ron playing like solo in a club or something?
I think I probably only saw him once.
Okay.
Now, but keep in mind, the clubs that we played weren't open every night. They were
it's a lot different than nowadays.
Totally, yeah. It was such a sparse scene, and because of that, it was such a cool social scene. Also, I mean, the relationships. I mean, like in the San Francisco Bay Area, there were the San Francisco musicians, there were the Berkeley musicians, there were the Palo Alto musicians, there are the San Jose musicians, and for one of us to get to go, wow, I'm playing San Francisco, it was like playing Carnegie Hall.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
To move down up there. So you actually knew Pig before he really joined with the Grateful Dead?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
now, I'm sure he was playing with Mother McCree's Uptown Jug Stompers. But I was very fortunate. I got a chance to see him play solo.
That would be very, very cool. And any kind of follow-up as far as how seeing him after he became a member of the Grateful Dead and stuff? You guys did a lot of shows together?
Not really. I mean, everybody, this question comes up a lot. And the thing is in the era when we were starting to do shows, we all had careers. It didn't hang out that much anymore.
Okay. All right.
The good news is we had careers. The bad news is we didn't hang out that much
cut off
anymore.
on some things. I had another question here about Pig and Janice. That they were together. And
I've heard that.
Anything you would have to say about that? Or is there anything thinking about Janice and Blue Ron that gives you a warm feeling, a good old memory?
Well, I mean, both Janice and Pig or Ron, classic, authentic blues artists of the first water, no question about it. And for Janice played with a lot of people. We were fortunate because we got recorded a couple times, which is why the typewriter tapes exist, et cetera, et cetera. But to be able to play with an artist of Janice's caliber was just an honor beyond ability to truly describe it. And all of us that played with her back in those days knew that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the only guy that accompanied her. A lot of people did.
I know in past you've said you felt the greatness right away.
Absolutely. When she opened her mouth.
How lucky that you had these people in touch your life and stuff.
Amen. I mean, you got to be from somewhere, sometime.
Yep.
And if you're lucky, there'll be some other cool people that are sharing the space with you.
And that one great picture, and we probably mentioned that as well, where you're coming out of the basement with those basement doors like we used to have in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cellar door type deal. And I believe Janice maybe in that picture, or
no, it's
Peter.
It's my brother Peter,
Pig.
me, my ex-wife, may she rest in
Right.
peace, and Pig,
Okay.
and an R26 BMW motorcycle.
All right. Someone wrote in here and had a question. Who was Bill Laudner and his work with Jefferson Airplane? They mentioned that he went on to tour manage maybe the Starship in later years.
Well, he was the lead roadie for the Airplane too. Cantor was living with Laudner in Santa Cruz when I met, or down on the beach when I first met Paul. He was just one of those Santa Cruz guys that was around from the beginning. And he always was hanging out with the Merry Pranksters a lot, and when things got rolling, he was our first and for a while only road guy.
Oh, really? I was just going to ask you what the team was like.
Yeah.
Did we just had one road guy for a long time? Or,
Hey, listen, when we flew places, I put a slip cover on my twin and checked it into baggage. And when we landed in an airport, you'd run down to the carousel and catch it before it fell out.
Different days.
Totally different
days. This is a good question because it comes from our friend the Cub, Kevin, out of Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Phil Lesh talked about for the Grateful Dead, they wanted to sound like the Sons of Champlin. Apparently a quote from Phil that's someone they looked at. Did the Jefferson Airplane ever want to sound like anybody? And also, was there a sound that you were going for from something another band was playing?
No.
Okay. That's a definitive answer, I want to say.
I remember, because Marty listened to a lot of music, and I think he had some ideas about vocals and becoming a pop star and stuff like that. I guarantee that I didn't want to sound like anybody but whoever I was developing, and I think Jack felt the same way.
Yes. I know them sometimes when you hear
I think
music.
I would, I don't mean to speak for the dead, but I think Paul felt the same way too.
Yeah, and that's probably the magic that made the Jefferson Airplane what it was.
Right, I mean,
because it was really a sound.
We didn't
of
sound
its
like
own.
we didn't sound like anybody.
Yeah. Okay. I guess in the same light, if you had seen any groups, whether it be 50s groups or whatever, when you were in the early stages and said, that's the kind of band we want, like this.
Well, I remember Marty loved the Moody Blues. I think if he could have
Interesting.
crafted a direction with the Airplane like that, but and it's difficult to really talk about it because who knows how serious he was at the time. I mean, you like somebody, Like, for example, I love Buddy Guy, but I didn't want to sound like Buddy Guy.
Right.
I would have liked to have been as good as Buddy Guy, but I didn't feel a need to sound like Buddy or BB
Right.
or any of those guys.
I hear you, and that's a cool thing that you could appreciate.
But also, just to qualify, I didn't have the talent to do that also, to be able to learn all the stuff they were doing. I mean, I've always talked, people talk about the creative process. My inadequacies have been instrumental in helping me define who I became. And that's a good thing, I think, from an artistic point of view.
Sure. Yeah, it's like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had printed a couple of these out because they were so long. And,
You know how to work a printer?
Yeah, I had someone help me.
Okay.
But anyhow, first off, they're telling us how much they enjoyed our show, Jorma. But
And we thank you for that.
okay.
Just get a bigger type font next time.
Yeah, I know. Okay, well, I had to get through everything because there's so much that they enjoy about everything here that we're doing. But the question is talking about venues that Hot Tuna has played.
Ooh.
Talking about favorite venues and what makes them special as far as acoustic, ambiance, unique setting, crowd management, venue employees, etc. How much does that fit into things?
Oh, that's a pretty good question. It's a difficult question to answer because I think what one looks for in a venue changes over time. I mean, I remember Robert Hunter and I played the Cubby Bear in Chicago. It's across from Wrigley Field. And it was an incredibly unruly crowd. And I remember I was playing, can we swear on this?
Yes.
Okay. I was playing, The Time Has Come for Us to Pause. That's the softer side of Jorma. I was filling the room with the softer side of Jorma. And somebody at the Cubby Bear goes, play the blues, motherfucker. And I thought, it may never get better than this, you know?
Yeah.
So that was funny then. If that were to happen today.
Is that what they call ambiance?
That certainly is ambiance. So, I mean, I think it depends on where you are in your life cycle. And I think today I would like to find a room that sounds better, an audience that would tend to listen. But over the years, we've loved the Chateau Liberté in the Santa Cruz Mountains where we recorded Pull Up, Pull Down, I believe.
Tell me about that place.
It was a shit kicker. I mean, it was back up in the woods. They had all these cabins. And I remember it's like a line from one of those songs from Snaps from the Poontangs where they're doing it like a signifying monkey kind of thing. We'd done some shit that made the whole world wonder.
I bet you did. I bet you did. Also, my favorite Jefferson Airplane album was Baxter's.
Good album.
Which has so many great songs, but seemed to capture a sense of joyous enthusiasm. No man is an island, he's a peninsula.
Right.
Any insight on Spencer Dryden?
Yeah, so Spencer, I think, we had a number of drummers with the Jefferson Airplane, a number of really good drummers. But I think from a creative point of view, Spencer was the heaviest of those cats, just because what he brought to what I consider to be the core personnel of the Jefferson Airplane, which was Jack, Paul, Grace, Marty, me, and Spencer. To me, we've had a number of incarnations, but that's the gold standard for me. And his sensibilities as a drummer and percussionist were just extremely nuanced, for lack of a better word. He was a good one. He was a really good one. And you're talking about this nonsense about this no man is all that kind of stuff. We just, with the Afterbathing at Baxter's, that was a 16-track recording. That was a big deal because before that it was a 4-track.
Right.
And all of a sudden we had all these tracks to play with, and we went wild with it. I mean, I remember. I think it took a week for me to get the feedback at the beginning of the House of Pooneill Quarters right, so Paul liked it.
Wow.
It's feedback, for God's sakes. How hard could it be?
You gotta get the right
guitar
feedback.
neck, boing, cracked spring reverb.
So, in other words, a lot of work on that.
I'm not saying a lot of time was spent. Let's put it that way. Mm-hmm. But anyway, and so we had a lot of chance to overdub and do stuff, and really had a lot of fun with it. And that record shows that.
Yep. And bathing, boy, a lot of people always talk about that too. And the question is,
for us, it was an innovative time.
I got a lot of questions on Bathing and Crown, and rather than bringing them, I thought we'd talk about them when we talk about the albums. But
Yeah.
something drastically happened from the time of Serialistic Pillow to all of a sudden Bathing at Baxter's,
Sure, and one of the things was the technology of the recording.
and be able to.
And
do
the other was that all of a sudden we have 16 tracks instead of 4.
right.
And we'd have to research. I don't know whether they had Dolby yet. In Serious Pillar, there's no noise reduction. You couldn't overdub more than once or twice, because then the tape degraded. You just throw it out, and you have to re-record everything.
16 track on Bathing at Baxter's. That's kind of like new. That was.
Oh, are you kidding? It
you
was
guys
like
were on the
what,
cutting edge, right?
I mean, now with these digital recordings, you can have 200 tracks.
Right.
But yes, it was cutting edge.
Well, Jorma, we are getting down toward the end of our podcast
Oh,
time,
no.
and this is a good last question here, and this comes from Evan in. Where is Claysville? Did we ever find out where Claysville
In
is?
between, actually, north of Cooperstown.
North
Oh,
of
Baseball Hall of
Cooperstown.
Fame. You ever been to the Baseball Hall of
No,
Fame?
but I want to go.
Oh, you got to go. It's awesome.
I want to go.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Boy, this one here, get your glasses close by. Look at this. This is even hard to pronounce, this city here. But you'll probably know what this is right here.
Oh, come on. It's Cutchogue.
Cutchogue. Okay.
And this is Evan from Cutchogue.
Yeah.
And it was sent from his iPhone.
How do
Hi,
you know
hi, Jorma.
Hey, I'll read it to you. Where's Cutchogue?
It sounds to me like it's on Long Island.
How do you spell it?
This is a C-U-T.
Oh, jeez.
It really is small print. It's
It
not
is.
my eyes.
Okay, Cutchogue. I know Patchogue is out there. Cutchogue.
Could be related.
Groundhog.
Right next to it. Only comes out in February.
Like north of New Suffolk. New Suffolk.
Okay. Did you hear that?
I did not.
North of
New Suffolk.
New Suffolk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Greenport. It's near Greenport.
Greenport. Why did you say that? He should have put that under
Yeah,
the
that's
iPhone.
that's easy to pronounce.
Okay.
What do we got?
Okay. Hi, Jorma. I have stayed at the Hotel Chelsea on 22nd Street in New York City. I wondered about one of your best compositions and a song that predicts the end of the airplane. I assume there's so much more color and nuance about this period in time and what it felt like to record a song about the end with your fellow bandmates who also knew the end was imminent. I leave it as an open-ended question with the hope that you can provide any thoughts, memories, or anecdotes from your residence at the Hotel Chelsea, which, by the way, is a wonderfully restored hotel with great artwork throughout the hallways.
Well, first of all, who stayed there back then could forget the Langosta Catalana at the,
I was going to bring that up.
at the restaurant, at the El Quixote restaurant. It was next door to the Chelsea.
What was it
down there.
again?
Langosta Catalana. It was a lobster dish.
Ah,
Langosta, whatever.
you have to get your wife to make that for you.
Yeah.
She's a good
So the Chelsea Hotel, yeah. So that I've told the story before, and I'll tell it again. That song came to me in a dream.
Yep.
I wasn't foretelling the end of anything. I remember that I always used to keep a tape recorder next to the bed. I woke up, picked up my guitar, played the song as it is, recorded it, went back to sleep, and it was there in the morning. And I don't remember doing it.
It's a pretty good story.
Yeah, not a good way to. I don't think you can count on writing songs that way. I mean, obviously, it reflects what was going through my mind, but I don't think it was a constant reflection. I mean,
When the other band members heard that song, was it anything like, "Wow, is it something going on we don't know about?" Or
actually, what the other band member said is, "Wow, that's a pretty good song."
well, it is. It's a great song.
Yeah,
Yeah. Did you stay in that Chelsea hotel a lot?
all the time.
Was it a rundown place?
It
back then?
was
Yeah.
delightfully so.
In a good way.
I mean, again, if those walls could talk, but am I glad they can't?
Right. Right. Yeah, and it seems like other people, like I hear Jerry used to like to stay there.
Yeah, I believe there were some murders committed there, as I recall.
That always adds to the excitement.
Yeah, I think that, what's that English band?
The Sex Pistols?
Yeah, that's.
Oh, yes.
That was a nasty
Sid
business.
Vicious, yes.
Nasty business.
Nasty. Well, unlike our business, which is learned, and full
erudite,
full of historical,
refined,
oral history. Well, Jorma, we have, believe it or not, like what they used to say on Car Talk, you've wasted a perfectly good hour. Instead, with us, we say, you've spent a great hour building up your knowledge and hearing some great stories. And we thank Jorma for remembering these things and sharing with us. We're wrapping up another podcast, Jorma, and I guess this one will be aired sometime this summer. And, and we got more good ones on the way, boy. The bank is getting full. Thanks for tuning in. Let's hear our music on the way out.
Blast it.
I turned it up to 10.
Walking down that lonesome road, set my soul on